welcome back to Plow and Pantry. I'm Alicia and I am late with the week 2 update of the Every Bit Counts challenge. I was meaning to do these every Wednesday, because that would have been the 14th, but time got away from me Wednesday, and then yesterday was not a good filming day. So I'm here today with what I did days 8 through 14 of the Every Bit Counts challenge. If you are not familiar with the Every Bit Counts challenge, it is a collaboration put on by Three Rivers Homestead, I'll link them below, where you try to preserve something, even if it's just a little bit, every day in the month of August. And so that's what we're working on here. And here's what I got done. Some old standbys that I always do and some brand new things to me. So I'm excited. So starting over here, I have 2, 4, 6, 8 pints of canned tomatoes. I was working on that big box of tomatoes I bought from the farmer like a week and a half ago. That was one of the first things I got done this week. And these are just regular plain canned tomatoes. They are not anything special about them, but we go through canned tomatoes like crazy. So this is my first batch this year. I will definitely need to do more, but I need to buy more tomatoes. Actually, I've been freezing some from my garden as they come in. I might have enough to do with my own now. So in addition to those tomatoes, I blanched all the tomatoes the same day. I made these, and then the next day I made tomatoes with green chilies. I have more Anaheims in the garden. I did do a video where I showed you how I can my green chilies. Those Anaheims are what I use for that. So I combine them with tomatoes to make pretty much homemade rotel. Rotel is just a name brand of tomatoes with green chilies. We use those a lot. So I don't know that I will have enough canned by the end of the year to last the whole year, but this is 7 pints of rotel. I did get a little more siphoning than normal this time. That siphoning is when some of the liquid, because this is was up to here. Some of the liquid comes out during the canning process. Because these had peppers in them, they had to be pressure canned. And that happens sometimes in pressure canning. Things you can do to lessen the amount of siphoning are to make sure everything is the same temperature. Hot jar, hot food, hot water in the canner is what I did, but I had a little bit more than normal. It's still safe. It is still safe. The seals are great, it's fine. It just might look a little bit lower than normal. So tomatoes and green chilies the next day because I didn't have time that day. And then I did dill pickles. So I only have 3 pint jars here. These are in last week's video, I showed you that I did some refrigerator pickles because I have slicing cucumbers coming out of my ears. I still do. In fact, I might make some more sweet relish with those today. But I didn't have my pickling cucumbers coming out of the garden yet. So this week they started coming out and I didn't have enough for like a whole batch full. So I just did what I have is 3 jars, and that is fine. I went ahead and made a full batch of the brine. If you have not made dill pickles before, they're easy and low maintenance in that you just stuff the cucumbers in the jar and then you make a brine that you pour over the top of them. And so since the brine is kind of its own separate thing, I went ahead and made a full batch of brine, even though this was not a full batch of pickles, so that I just put the rest in a jar and refrigerated it. So the next time I make some, I already have that part done. I will just need to reheat it when I pour it over the pickles. So I've got 3 pint jars of pickles. It's regular dill pickles there. So this right here is new to me, and it was full. This is dehydrated zucchini chips. Last year, sometime I tried freeze drying zucchini. I have to give the caveat in case you've never seen one of my videos where I talk about zucchini. I'm not a zucchini fan. I usually grow 1, maybe 2 plants a year, and I shred zucchini and freeze it for zucchini bread during the winter. And I don't normally like to eat it. I have discovered that part of my aversion to it is the texture, so I know that I do make one zucchini boat I like, but I just heat it through. I don't really cook the zucchini, it's really firm. But my nephew was visiting last November, and he was telling me that he and his mother really like these zucchini chips. And he thinks they're dehydrated. And so I found a recipe that seemed kind of odd to me, but piqued my curiosity. And I made zucchini chips. I think what was odd to me was that they have like a vinegar dressing on them. I was not holding out much hope for these, but I thought if he came again soon, he might try them. But I took these off of the dehydrator racks, and I tried one, and oh my gosh, they're so good. That's why this jar is only half full. They are so good. They're pretty plain. They just kind of taste salty, but they're so good. And so now I'm looking at my garden wondering, do I still have time to plant another zucchini plant or 2? Because now I want to make a ton of these and have them all winter. So might have more zucchini chips in my future. that one was new to me. So I had a quart of zucchini chips. Now there's a half quart there. Chicken, I have 4 pints here of chicken. In my grocery haul video, I talked about buying chicken on sale, and I was putting stuff straight into the canner after that video. I have really depleted my meat, my canned meat, my shelf-stable meat in the pantry, and I want to stock that back up. So as things are going on sale, I'm grabbing extra to do that. I also want to freeze dry some, but right now I'm just canning it. I think last week when I talked to you guys, we had peaches in the freeze dryer. Oh, that reminds me of peach powder here. Peaches in the freeze dryer. I got 2-gallon bags. I need to put them in Mylar bags. We decided that we like these, we'll eat them, but they're not as good to us as the apples and strawberries. So we'll probably stick to those unless I have peaches that I need to do something with. And I had the peach powder last week I talked about too. This was just the pulp from juicing, and it was, I just decided to hydrate it and grind it up, and I'll throw it. And I have a recipe for like a peach spice tea muffin that I will just add some of this to give it an extra peach flavor. So I did discuss these last week on the 7th. And then, so zucchini, I shredded and froze 3 quart bags of zucchini. These are what I will use for zucchini bread and chocolate zucchini bread in the winter. And I will use 1 bag per recipe. This is about 4 cups that I smashed into the bag, and that's about what I put in my recipe. So once I got my green chilies into my mixture of tomatoes here, I kind of didn't measure this time. I decided, you know what, I like a lot of green chilies in my mix. I'm just gonna add more. But I didn't get it all. I got the amount I wanted, and I had some left. And I didn't want to waste it, and I didn't want to can this small amount. This is about a cup of green chilies, so I froze a little bit here for some time when I need to use green chilies. And then let's see. I wanted to show you the peaches, but they don't count because they were last week's. They were on the 7th. What am I missing? Something. Oh. I know what I'm missing. Cucumbers. I made kimchi. Another thing to do with cucumbers. So this was another full jar that I've been eating half of. So I came across my mom's recipe. I grew up in the military. My dad was in the Army, and he retired when I was going in 10th grade. So if you've not ever been in the military, you may not know that it's actually a very racially mixed group of people. I had a lot of friends of various races, and I always had some friends that were Korean and some friends that were Japanese. And kimchi is a Korean food, and we would eat at each other's houses. That's what you did when you were kids, you know? And our family fell in love with kimchi, and my mom got my friend Joy's mom's recipe for cucumber and cabbage kimchi. So I decided, when I came across that, because my dad had given me all her recipes, I decided to make cucumber kimchi with some of my cucumbers. I'm gonna need to make more. And that's fine because this keeps, like, even though it's in the fridge, I can put it in our basement fridge and it will keep for quite a while. In addition to that, so sometime this week, my daughter saw me making this and she asked for cabbage kimchi. So now I bought another head of cabbage. Even though it's not from the garden or whatever, I will be making cabbage kimchi this coming week for her, which I just find funny because that would make 2 weeks in a row that I did something with cabbage when that's not really even in season, because last week I made sauerkraut with some leftover cabbage. So kimchi, that's the thing I was missing from my stash here. That is this week's Every Bit Counts challenge. Can call it a haul. What would you call it? Grouping, whatever, stuff, booty, loot. This week's loot stuff going in the pantry or the freezer or the refrigerator in this case. But these are all things, the tomatoes and green chilies, dill pickles, chicken stuff we use all the time. Zucchini I use every winter. I don't make zucchini bread that often, so I don't need that much. The kimchi I have not made in years, like 20 years. Zucchini chips were new, big success. I might do a video on those. And then just wanted to show you the peaches and the peach powder from last week. So thank you for joining me, you guys. I hope that I see you soon on another video, and I hope you have a great day.